Left 4 Dead. Does it have the most epic opening scene to a video game of all time? Hello again, ladies and gents, and welcome to another Too True SMEG review, where I am on an endless quest to find the greatest intros or opening scenes to video games, movies, and TV shows. And in that journey, I've come across one of the greatest video games, in my opinion, of all time, Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead was a groundbreaking video game, 4 players with the single purpose of surviving a zombie apocalypse. Left 4 Dead did so well that a year later, Left 4 Dead 2 came out, which was amazing as well, although in my opinion not as great as the first one, but still great. While I could talk all day about every level of this game and how I still play it to this day and still challenge myself with different tasks while I'm playing the campaign, reviewing the game is not the purpose of my review today. Rather, my purpose today is to review the opening scene to the video game and to determine whether it is one of the greatest intros of all time to a video game. To help me with this review, we will be looking at 3 different categories. And if you're familiar with my videos, those 3 categories are the music or sound, the storytelling, and how captivating as a whole the intro is. We will be giving each of these categories a score out of 10, then adding all of these scores up to get a final average score. And if there's something extra special about the intro that just doesn't fit into any of these categories, but helps to elevate it in some way, then we'll be awarding bonus points as well. So sit back, relax, take a load off, and enjoy another Too True SMEG review. Let's begin with the music or sound. One thing that is worth noting with the music here is overall, it's not super original, and if someone were to hear this, they wouldn't immediately associate it with Left 4 Dead. That being said, it's pretty good music, and one thing about it that really stands out is the single note we hear at the beginning. One thing that's special about this single note that we hear is we hear it throughout the game as well when we play. Whenever we hear this single note, it's ominous, and it warns us that there's a huge horde of zombies coming after us and we have to prepare right away. It puts us on edge, making us cautious about what is to come. As the opening scene continues and we see the horde of zombies coming in and the flood of infected, the music ramps up and it becomes way more intense. It's perfect music for an action-packed type genre. And in this opening scene, it fits perfectly in making us feel the intensity that is happening here. After all the action is over and our survivors make it to the top of the roof, that ominous note plays again, and we are then introduced into the world of Left 4 Dead. Pure survival. So with all of these things in mind, the total score we will be giving for music and sound is 6 out of 10. Again, it's nothing too special, it's not the best music ever, but it fits perfectly with the intensity and the action that's happening in this scene. Now let's look at the storytelling, perhaps the greatest part about this opening scene. Right away, we know that there are 4 survivors. We've got Francis, Zoe, Lewis, and my personal favorite, Bill. As our survivors are carefully and cautiously walking and tiptoeing down this alleyway, we can tell that these survivors are barely surviving. Then, as things pick up and the witch escalates things to a new level, our survivors are in pure adrenaline mode and are just trying to get out of there in one piece. There's some cool action sequences and some details that take place, which I will get into in a second, but ultimately our survivors are just trying to get up to the roof to get away from the chaos that's happening down below. Finally, our survivors barely make it, and then they see the chaos and the destruction all around them, and somehow we know that they have to survive this. Now, the best part about this opening scene is not the whole action sequence. It's actually the small details about the special infected that happen throughout this intro. It gives us a brief introduction into some of the special infected that we will see when we actually play the game. We see the smoker with his tongue, and we know that he can grab survivors and pull them in, restraining them. Then we see the hunter. In a similar way, he makes it so survivors can't do anything but scream for help. He pounces on them and claws at them until they're dead. And then there's the witch. Oh my goodness, if you've played this game, you know you avoid the witch like the plague. As we're taught in this intro, when you hear the witch, you turn off your flashlights and you avoid it so as to not disturb her from clawing you to shreds. Unfortunately, we don't see the boomer. That's a surprise for us when we actually play the game, but in the end, we see the tank. This tank is a monolithic creature that you run away from and shoot at the same time so as to not get crushed to death. Now, while seeing all the special infected are pretty cool and a great storytelling aspect for us, The key storytelling piece that is critical here is it takes teamwork to survive this. Yes, there are those people out there who can speedrun the entire game without taking any damage, and they do it all by themselves. That's not for the average person, and that's obviously not the way to play this game. The way to truly play this game is with a full team as you navigate through the streets to try and survive this zombie apocalypse. Overall, the total score we will be giving for storytelling here is a 10 out of 10. And now finally, we've come to perhaps the most important part of the intro. How captivating is the intro as a whole? This category review is going to be quite short because it is very captivating. From the moment we see the Four Fingers and Bill sifting through the dead bodies, to the moment we see our survivors looking at the landscape around them, there is pure entertainment, and ultimately we are captivated and pulled into this world. Especially when things get intense and the action's taking place and our survivors are pulling out their double pistols and are just trying to survive this chaos. This is something you would see in a top blockbuster film. It is that high quality of captivating its audience. So for these reasons, we will be giving a perfect 10 out of 10 score to captivating for this intro. So in conclusion, when we add all these scores up, we get a total of 26 out of 30 points, which averages out to 8.67 out of 10. A great score for any intro, and you better believe I will be reviewing Left 4 Dead 2 at some point in the future as well. Well, there you have it, my full review of the opening scene to Left 4 Dead. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, and if you disagreed with me or there were some pieces that you didn't quite agree with, please even consider leaving a dislike or leave a comment about where I might have missed the mark here or there. And if you really enjoy this type of content of me reviewing the intros to things, please even consider subscribing, as it goes a long way in helping the channel grow. Anyways, thanks again for all the support and for sticking around for another Too True SMEG review. Until next time.